Welcome to Asia YouTube. Today we turn our attention to the one-off test between Afghanistan and India. I'll be discussing the key selection decisions, the absence of notable players from both sides, game tactics, and what to expect ahead of this important game with my two distinguished guests, Devinder Kumar from India and Hamid Shuja from Afghanistan. Devinder, if I start with you, India have announced a very strong squad against Afghanistan. Do you think it's because they don't take the opposition lightly, or could the result of their recent home games, test games, have influenced their selection? What do you make of it?
Well, it can be attributed to both factors. India does not want to take Afghanistan, lightly because Afghanistan is a very, very competitive side in white ball cricket. They are aware about the batting abilities, the bowling abilities, particularly in spin department. So they rate Afghanistan very highly in India because of their competitive performances in ODI format and other formats as well. So first thing first, India wants to win this test match. And second is that Indian cricket team is also in transition. There is no Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma these days. And after what happened against New Zealand and South Africa, two massive defeats at home, that's something that's rare on Indian shores. So India losing two back-to-back series on Indian shores, that's something that has forced the selectors to pick a very, very strong side against Afghanistan.
If I ask the same question from you, Shujaseb, there were mixed reactions when Afghanistan announced their squad, the test squad. Do you think it's Afghanistan's strongest possible side? What are your initial thoughts?
Not at all. I don't think it's Afghanistan's strongest squad for two main reasons. Afghanistan's, at least in my opinion, Afghanistan's best batter in both formats. Ibrahim Zadran is not playing, although for unfortunate reasons, for injury reasons. And I think Afghanistan's best bowler, Rashid Khan, is not in the squad. So in that sense, no, I don't think it's the strongest side Afghanistan could have put for this one-off test match. But beyond that, I do think that in the batting department, you could count on the likes of Rahmat Shah. He has played Test cricket and he has scored in Test cricket for Afghanistan before. There are expectations about Sadiq Atal. He has tremendous potential, and I'm sure there is room for improvement, but you could count him in. If Gurbaz plays, especially on Indian wickets, he is used to the conditions. He could pose a challenge to the Indian bowlers, and then you could also count on the likes of Azmat Omarzai, not just with the ball, but then in the batting department as well. It will be interesting to see how the likes of newcomers such as Abdul Malik, for example, who is an opening batsman, how he does. So I think it's not the worst batting squad for Afghanistan. With the bowling department, I think it's an entirely different.
I'll come to the bowling side a bit later on, Shujaseb. If I ask you about the three new selections, the three new players that are being called up for this test, do you think Afghanistan was out of options, in the absence of key players like Rashid Khan, Ibrahim Zadran, Ziaur Rahman, Zia? Or are they giving multiple new faces a chance against a strong team like India? Was that a wise decision by the selectors?
I don't think the only opportunity against India is a good time to experiment with new faces. I personally am completely against that. If you are playing only one test a year, and if you're playing it against a huge cricketing nation such as India, you do not want to experiment with new faces. Okay, I agree that Rashid Khan is an injury issue, Ibrahim Zadran, similar reasons. But then you had options. I'm surprised, for example, that Noor Ahmed is not in the squad, for example. It's probably after Rashid, he's the second, one of the second best leg spin and a Chinaman and left arm, and somebody who is currently, well, just recently played in India, is used to the conditions. His exclusion is interesting, for example. I don't know what the reason behind that is. So there are a few surprises. I completely agree with you. But I just hope that they didn't take this opportunity to experiment new faces, because I don't think that would be a good idea.
Devinder, the Indian side is obviously the strongest side out of the two. But there were similar debates in the Indian media about the selection of certain players who performed well in the domestic circuit. For example, Akib Nabi, if I can mention his name, he was, I think, the player of the tournament, and his team won the Ranji Trophy as well, I believe. Do you think there were other deserving players that could have been included, or could this be a tactic moving forward? India is certainly part of the Test Championship, and they have definitely they're building up for the ODI World Cup as well. Were there some players that could have been part of this squad, or are you happy with the selection that's been made?
They should have gone with Akib Nabi. I was lucky to commentate on his play as well during the Ranji Trophy and before that in the Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy. He's a fantastic bowler, and he's been taking wickets, around 60 wickets every season. And he's got the ability to bowl well in Test format. But selectors believe, and most of the people who've been working around Akib Nabi and Indian selection are of the opinion that they will use him in New Zealand and England, where the ball is swinging around, because his pace is not expressed. And they think that Afghanistan will be well equipped to handle Akib Nabi. So that's why they went with a fast bowler with a little bit of extra height to get that extra bounce and trouble Afghan batters. So it's a tactical move by the selectors to go with a taller man with his ability to get extra bounce and a little bit of extra pace as well.
Just like Afghanistan, there are quite a few new names in the Indian side as well. I believe Manav, Gurnur Brar, and Harsh Dubey. They're the three players that have been called up. If you can tell us a little bit about the new players, we haven't seen much of them.
Yes, they've been performing really well consistently for the last 2 to 3 years, particularly left-arm spinner in Manu Suthar. He is from Rajasthan, and he has done exceedingly well in A tours as well as Ranji Trophy. That's why he's given the opportunity to represent India in the Test format. He's an excellent bowler. All the selectors and everyone who's been following Indian cricket is of the opinion that he is a perfect replacement for the likes of Ravindra Jadeja. I think India is gradually moving on from Ravindra Jadeja, who's been a fantastic contributor in Test format since 2012 when England toured to India. And so they're just thinking about finding replacement because Ravindra Jadeja is also an aging cricketer, and they're trying to move on from him and use another young, exciting, consistent left-arm spinner, Manu Suthar.
Shuja Sahib, you briefly touched upon Rashid Khan earlier. He's the highest wicket taker for Afghanistan with 45 wickets in just 6 games. The second highest is Hamza Hotak with 18 wickets in 4 games. How big of a loss is this for Afghanistan in this game? And do you think they'll be able to fill his gap? Or if I can put it in simple words, can Afghanistan compete against a team like India without Rashid Khan?
Afghanistan can compete against India without Rashid Khan, but it's going to be a lot more harder without Rashid Khan. Had Rashid Khan been in the squad, then you could say, well, Afghanistan could have put up a stronger challenge to an opposition of the caliber of India. So it's a huge loss. It's a tactical or a cricketing loss because Afghanistan ends up being much weaker without Rashid Khan. But you could also look at it from a fan's perspective. It's a disappointment for the Afghan fans. And I think Devendra will agree with me. Rashid Khan's absence will actually be a disappointment for the Indian fans because I would probably say that Rashid Khan's fan base is much huger in India if we speak in sheer numbers rather than, of course, he's a mega star in Afghanistan, but mathematically speaking, he probably has more fans in India as well. So it's a loss from that aspect as well. And I'm sure he was desperate to play. He's not the kind of person or the kind of player who would miss an opportunity against an opposition like India. But if that's the advice from the medical team, if that's something that's going to protect him in the longer term, then it's a sensible decision to just leave him out.
Now that he's in a bit of a limbo situation about his future in red ball cricket, do you think this could have been managed properly or better, when it comes to managing his workload? Do you think this could have been, foreseen?
I think the balance or the responsibility tilts both ways. Okay, of course, every cricket board has a responsibility to look after their players that they count upon for the national team. But at the same time, you have to ask individual players as well, how many franchise leagues are you playing around the world? within 12 months? Is your body supporting the workload? Is your mental capacity able to pick up and carry that much cricket around the calendar year? So it's a difficult balance, and the cricket board could have played a role as well. But I think Rashid Khan is also aware of the fact that probably, and I think in some of his interviews he sort of touched upon this topic, said he may want to better arrange his cricketing, his playing calendar around the year so that he can be fitter, stronger, and also play well for Afghanistan.
Devinder, Afghanistan's lack of exposure in this format is certainly not in their favor. But India, on the other side, they have also won only one series at home, I think, since 2024, that too against West Indies. I think they played 4. Could that be a point of concern? You know, it's cricket, anything can happen. Could that be a point of concern for them?
Yes, because in test format, anything can happen. A fine spell from someone can change the course of the action. Indian cricket team has also been susceptible when it comes to batting on turning pitches. So things can change drastically in test format. And if you talk about a couple of quality players, if you take out a couple of quality players like Shubman Gill early, or KL Rahul or Rishabh Pant, you never know, things can change, and that's something that Indian fans are not willing to accept. And if India loses the test match against Afghanistan, there will be, huge uproar in India, because that's something that is not expected from Indian cricket team. So the pressure is on the Indian team. India has the experience, has the awareness and conditioning of the red ball cricket. Most of the players have played a lot of Ranji Trophy cricket or cricket in A tours as well. So they come up with a lot of experience. There will be some challenges, and you expect India to come back and counter, but it will be a challenge, massive challenge for Afghanistan to force India on the back foot in Indian conditions, and particularly with the inexperience in bowling department for Afghanistan, in spin as well as in the pace department. That's where India will try to capitalize onto it. And when it comes to tackling pace bowling from India, I think Afghan batters will be quite good and quite equipped to actually tackle the pace bowling of Indians, but they will struggle against the likes of Kuldeep Yadav. With his wrist spin, he's going to create some problems. In test format, Afghan batters against the likes of Kuldeep Yadav, that will be a thrilling contest to watch. Who is going to dominate that contest will get ahead in the contest, looking to win the test match.
Shuja said, Afghanistan's batting lineup has always been a point of concern and debate, but in the recent years, with the rise of Ibrahim Zadran, the opening pair has never been as solid. He's also not part of this series. Who do you think, or who can, his in absence, maybe step up and fill his shoes?
I first of all, I completely agree with what Devendra just said about the battle between Afghan bowling, Afghan batting, and the likes of Kuldeep Yadav. I think test match is not just a test of your physical stamina, it's a test of your mental stamina. It's a test of your temperament. How do you handle batting in long sessions? How do you handle a situation where a spinner is constantly coming at you within split seconds? You don't even have time to take your helmet off and wipe your face, and straight away you have to face the next delivery. And it could be an in-swinger, it could be a googly, it could be absolutely anything. And the fact that Afghanistan's batters do not play much of a test cricket, long format in Afghan domestic cricket is not that polished. It's going to be an extreme. And also another huge factor is, I was just talking to Devendra before we started, is that we are talking about the 6th of June and the temperatures in India are above 40 degrees. So that's a huge factor as well. It will be a tough context. But can the Afghan batters keep their temperament? Can they stay calm? Can they stay patient and wait for the loose delivery to score runs of India? That's where the main test will be. Bashir Jan, we have lost you. I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Devinder, my question was to you. It's quite obvious that all the odds are against Afghanistan, but is there a particular area where Afghanistan can realistically target India? Or is there any area where can Afghanistan actually challenge India in this test?
Afghanistan, if they win the toss and bat first, in the first innings, if they post around 400 or 400 plus runs, and runs can be scored. If they handle Kuldeep well, I think the amount of pace bowling that India has, Siraj is also struggling with his shoulder issue. So if they bat well in the first innings, that's where Afghanistan stand a chance of putting pressure on India on day number 3 and 4, where the pitch is expected to take a bit of a turn, grip and turn. Once the pitch deteriorates and it starts turning and gripping, it can be problematic for Indian batters as well. So Afghanistan stand a chance. They got the batting talent to do the job. They got the quality all-rounders in the side. And the recent experience of playing list A cricket, yes, they haven't played red ball cricket for quite some time. But at orientation, they have been in the zone as well. And they played in similar kind of conditions, in the sense in Jalalabad, the temperature is around 35 degrees centigrade. So slightly they will be better condition coming to Chandigarh. Indian players, most of the players have been part of the IPL, which has been grueling, which has been demanding. Playing in Chennai, for example, 47, 48 degrees centigrade, and traveling a lot. So that mental fatigue, that physical fatigue, that will also factor in. And they won't have much time to recover from what transpired in last 2 months in India, traveling across and playing matches. So that's where Afghanistan can capitalize on.
400 against any side will be, a very decent, a very good total. How feasible is that, looking at this Afghan squad? And if they are able to score 400 runs, who do you back to do that? Which players?
Is that for me?
When it comes to tackling?
Yeah, please. Eddie, I don't mind, but since he was here, just to add.
Go ahead, Devendra, please.
He has a lot of expectation from Siddiqul Atal. He's got the temperament, he's got the technique. Initial period is going to be crucial for him. He struggles a bit when the ball is moving around early on into the innings, but once he gets through the first 20 or 30 runs, he's got the temperament, he's got the skill to play spin well, really well. Also, Gurbaz, where he's going to bat, that's going to be important. I think Gurbaz's ability to dominate his spin, that's going to be a critical factor from Afghanistan perspective. So I expect Rahman, who has always been reliable, Gurbaz to contribute massively, particularly tackling the spin bowlers, and Siddiqul Atal. And some other contributors as well, like Azmat, going for a counter attack and collecting quick runs with the tail enders.
Shuja said, Devendra mentioned Azmat. He's, I think, making a comeback in this test. He wasn't part of the previous test squad. As a result, since he has come back, I think there's a player, probably a very much deserving player, who has missed out, Ismat Alam, who scored a century in the previous test. The other player, the batter, I think it was Shahidullah Kamal, who's also not part of this squad. Has that weakened Afghanistan's lineup further? Or if it was you, if you were to advise the selectors, is it wise or is it worth it to go with two all-rounders, maybe Azmatullah and Ismat Alam, both in the same squad?
Probably not. I think because they're quite similar, of course, different abilities. Azmat is an international star now. Asmat, on the other hand, is just starting his international career, not much exposure, just a maiden test 100. So they're at different points in their cricketing journey. But I wouldn't say that leaving Ismat out and bringing Omarzai in is the wrong decision. I think Azmat is more than capable to replace anybody as an all-rounder. He offers pace with the ball. He offers runs, and he is a good fit. On the previous question, I think toss will be an important factor. If Afghanistan wins the toss, I would really hope them to bat first. Why? Because there will be some pace for the first couple of days, but as Devendra pointed, India's current pace attack is not the most potent or the most dangerous. So if Afghanistan batters can play and stay on the wicket for the first day, and then hopefully at least half of the second day, and put some runs on the board, and take it into the third day, when the wicket starts turning, then probably Afghanistan can challenge some of the Indian batters. On the other hand, if India bats first, and if the likes of Shubman Gill and KL Rahul or Sai Sudarshan stays on the wicket, my fear is that India could put up a total of 500 to 600, and then they would just allow Afghanistan to come in. The wicket's turning, and then India's spinners, Kuldeep Yadav, will be actually desperate to grab that opportunity. If that happens, I think Afghanistan will be in deep trouble.
I think you both agree that Afghanistan should bat first if they win the toss. which has been the scenario, the case for Afghanistan for decades. And let's hope that happens. They get to win the toss and bat first. At least they'll give them an upper hand. Devinder, if I come back to you, I know you follow Afghanistan cricket quite closely. You commentate in the domestic circuit as well. Afghanistan has produced world-class white ball cricketers. Why do you think they've failed to do the same in the longer format? Is it a lack of talent, or a lack of opportunities, or the both?
The most important aspect is lack of exposure at the highest level. If Afghanistan get around 20 test matches in 3 years, I think they're going to improve a lot. I have seen the signs of players showing their ability in white ball cricket as well. But when you play after 1 year, one test match, that orientation of playing session by session cricket is not there. Yes, you play domestic cricket, but that's a different challenge altogether. In test format, it's so demanding. You are tested of every delivery that's coming at you. So you develop that test match temperament, and it's not going to take long. It's about 20 test matches in 3 years. If Afghanistan can manage 20 test matches in 3 years, we will see a different Afghanistan altogether. There is enormous amount of talent, and I can tell you what, the current Afghan team or the Afghan test team and ODI team, they are more talented than they're competing when it comes to talent with the Indian cricket team. Only factor where Afghanistan is missing out is a temperament, that mindset of playing session by session in test match cricket, or absorbing the pressure and finding solutions when the pressure is on you in limited overs cricket. That's where India is ahead, because of their conditioning, because the amount of cricket that they play, because the exposure of playing against high quality players. That's the difference. Afghanistan need exposure against quality teams, not against the likes of Zimbabwe or Ireland. They need test matches against Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, or India. If they get so many test matches, they will improve drastically, as we saw in ODI format as well, just before the 2023 World Cup. Not many people were giving chance to Afghanistan, but with some good conditioning camps, and Afghanistan took the risk of playing Pakistan and Sri Lanka before the World Cup 2023, and that resulted in confidence, more confidence in their ability to play and handle situations, and all of a sudden we saw Afghanistan showing great promise on the world stage.
If I ask the same question from you, Shiraz, why hasn't Afghanistan succeeded in the longer format?
I completely agree with what Devinder said. It's not about a lack of talent or individual opportunities. It's simply about a lack of test cricket. It's as simple as that. You play one test game, then the next one is 12 months later, and you have forgotten everything that you learned during the previous test game. You have basically gained no experience from that one, because there is nothing that you remember. There is nothing that you can bring from the previous test game into this one. And Afghanistan were not the most exciting team when they played ODI cricket or when they started T20 cricket. It took them a long time to become the team that they are today in white ball cricket. It took them a decade to beat the likes of England and New Zealand and Pakistan in ODI, and then went on to beat Australia and other major teams in T20 as well. So it's all about how they manage it. There might be some politics involved. We don't know about that. But at the end of the day, there will be it will take a lot of commitment and constant pushing and requesting from the Afghan cricket board, and then hopefully a little bit of more leniency from the ICC, individual cricket boards like the likes of the Indian Cricket Board, BCCI, and some other countries. It will take two hands, some support from both ends for Afghanistan to be able to play more test cricket, and I'm sure they can succeed and they can challenge in this format as well.
Yeah. If I ask, sure, please do it.
One thing they can do is that every time there is a team from England or Australia or Sri Lanka touring to India, Afghanistan play at least one test match before that series. And that's where I think at COE, Cricket Excellence in Bengaluru, that's where they can play one test match before every series. So that's good practice for the visiting team, at the same time good learning experience for Afghanistan cricket team as well. So that's where I think they can sign an agreement with the BCCI about getting more opportunities when it comes to playing test cricket against the visiting teams.
Yeah, absolutely. If that can be contractualized, that'll be much better for both. but they're quite unlucky when it comes to a longer format as well. They had only test with the New Zealand, which was called off due to the weather. The current political landscape doesn't really favour them as well. But just to sum it up, if I ask one final question from both of you, the last time India and Afghanistan met, the entire test was concluded in just 2 days. Does Afghanistan have the potential to take this game to the fourth or final day?
Definitely. They have more experience in white ball cricket. They have more exposure to high quality cricket. I think they will sum up those skills from different formats and that experience of playing different formats against high quality oppositions. And I think they should be able to stretch the test match to at least fourth day, or maybe take it to the fifth day. And you never know. Some good spells from the spin bowlers can well challenge India on Indian soil as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's all about how the Afghan batting lineup reacts. Can they keep their heads down? Can they remain cool? Can they keep their temperament? Can they cope with the weather? Can they cope with the likes of Kuldeep Yadav if he plays? And if they can do that, and if they bat first as well, as I said earlier, then yes, this match could go into the third or even the fourth day as well. So there are certain factors, but I think the key factor for Afghanistan will be how their batters perform in these conditions.
Well, thank you. I believe you both count on Afghanistan to take and extend this game to at least third, fourth, or fifth day. Let's hope that happens. And that brings us to the end of today's discussion. A huge thank you to both of you for your valuable experience and analysis. Whether Afghanistan can challenge India as one of the best test sides remains to be seen. But every match at this level is certainly an important step in their development as a cricketing nation. And I hope to see more of this in the future, not only against India, but strong test nations like England, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and others. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Bashir.
Thank you, Bashir.